For tonight's lecture, what I'd like to bring to you is a subject that I've used in my practice and I found to be very, very helpful, but it really gets back to the basics. And I think that's what the Star Club is all about, is to understanding how each astrologer has a unique spin on different things that they've discovered over the years. And tonight I'm going to be talking about the Cadent houses. Now, it's Cadent houses, and hopefully at this lecture, at the end of this lecture, you're kind of might say to yourself, well, I knew that. And angular, succedent, and Cadent houses are really quite basic. It's probably one of the first things that you start to learn as you develop your knowledge of astrology. But what I found is that each one of these each one of the cardinal, angular, succedent, and Cadent houses, there's one each in each of the 4 quadrants, making up the 12 houses. But they seem to flow from one house to the next, each one building on the house that precedes it. And each house then sets the stage for the house that is next to it. So the flow of the energies around the chart shows the power each one of us will have in making destiny in our own life. From my point of view, that some traditionalists may object to this, but I feel that we are the ones that have the fate of our chart by how we develop each house as it goes around, and we make the choices and move forward in our life, and then we will, we get the rewards, but then we'll also have consequences. Let me move along here. Now, reading Deborah Holding, she says that the word cadent comes from fallen and is the root of the word cadaver, meaning corpse. Now, I kind of like that. I have 4 planets in the 8th house and 3 in the 12th house, so I like that word cadaver. But a house that is somewhat dead. She continues, a planet in a Cadent house has been carried by the diurnal motion movement away from the cardinal position, symbolizing something that has moved from a position of power into a condition of weakness or a fall from grace. So this is perhaps the traditional use of Cadent houses, that they are somehow weaker. And I've learned from other astrologers that our angular house may have 100%, where the succedent house has a 50% weight, and Cadent house is just simply a 25. And certainly this can be quite true in electional astrology and in horary astrology. However, what I'm going to discuss today, I'll be talking about Cadent houses that they pertain to our consultations and help demonstrate the flow of the energy through each house in the chart. I find that everything flows in order from one house to the next, each house building on the one before it. So if you think about a subdivided circle, without Cadent houses, we would never be able to move on. We'd simply be stuck in the succedent houses. It's in the Cadent houses that we glean knowledge from the action, and the succedent house, we get ready for how we will apply that knowledge to our upcoming action houses. Robert Marx states, quote, we would not be able to grow or develop, but we'd stay stuck with what we already have, succedent houses, and never be able to think before acting. Cadent houses are the backup of angular house action. So, in each Cadent house, we will use the lessons of that quadrant to prepare for the action necessary in the angular house that follows. What I have here is a wheel that I kind of threw together. Very simple keywords. The first house, I breathe and I am, to own, to know, and then each house will successively have some type of keyword attached to it. Once we have an understanding of ourselves, like get my arrow to cooperate with me, once we have an understanding of the first house, our self-mastery quadrant, we then establish ourselves. We move into release, to improve, And then once we've developed our second quadrant, we are ready to bring all this knowledge we have about our inner self to the outside world to relate to others, coming up here to the 8th house. And then we continue, we renew, we understand others, and then we move to achieve, where we would normally have a Capricorn ascendant, midheaven rather, to transfigure and to transcend. Okay. The point here is that you are always in control. This is I've always felt this way all along, that we are in control. But it is a dance between what's in front of us and how we are going to react to it, how we're going to move things forward. So we take the lessons that we learn and we apply it to the actions that we need to take. So the lessons that we learn will have some type of an impact on what we're going to be doing from one house to the next. In this particular slide, what we learn in the 3rd house will prepare us and impact what we're going to be doing in the 4th house.